everyone, it's Kelly G in the Craftique Studio. Welcome in. For the March Birthday Club design, we're going to make a card using these really cute and adorable House Mouse design stamps. I just wanted to show you a couple of samples of some that I've already stamped and then stamped in color to give you an idea of how adorable these can be and the range in which they can come. But before we get started, let me show you a little bit about House Mouse. This is a collection from designer Ellen Jurenke, and it's produced by Spellbinders. And look at how adorable these little mice are. There's 5 of them in the little family, and they get into all kinds of crazy shenanigans and predicaments. And as you can see, this is just one of the mini collections that's in the House Mouse group. And it just is so cute, and it has all kinds of different occasions that these mice get into, and then there's also some sentiments that go with them. And as you can see with this one, it's a you made it and congratulations. So there's like an achievement type of theme to this one. This one also has a birthday theme, one about sending love across the miles, the streamers, which we're going to color today. And then this one is like a get well. And then this one is kind of like a little flying one, just kind of like an all occasion, sending love your way and you can do it type of reach for the stars type of stamp. And as you can see, there's a lot of great detail in these stamps too, a lot of fine line detail. So that's the reason why that these are red rubber cling stamps. And as you can see, they're pretty thick. So when you're stamping with them, you can either use your stamping block because they will cling to a block, or you can use your stamp positioner. So if you do use something like a Misty, for example, because it's so thick and there's already cushion here with the top part of it, you want to remove that bottom cushion layer within the Misty. And I'll show you that when we get started. You also want to be sure to get a really good black ink to stamp the image in. And you can even keep it black and white as is because it's gorgeous that way. Or you can color little details of it, just little pops of color, or you can color the entire piece of work. So I'm going to work with the Party Streamers stamp. And as you can see, it says happiest of birthdays and let's party as our 2 sentiments. And it has this cute little mouse design where it's running off with the streamers and some of which are in its hat. So it's really cute and there's so much that can be done with it. Just so you know, in the details section, there is a link to what we carry in the store for the House Mouse collection. We do have some Christmas ones if you wanted to catch up on those. There's some Valentine's ones, and then there's some spring ones, which we're going to be having in the store soon. So definitely check those out. You'll want to collect them all once you get started and have so much fun with them. So I'm going to pull out my Misty to get started. And this is the full-size Misty. And this is the padding, the mouse pad that I keep in it on a normal basis. I'm going to take that out because there's enough cushioning, as I mentioned, in the stamp to then, allow for that type of bounce that you need in order to get a good impression on the paper. So I'm going to line this up. I've already been stamping with it, so I'm just going to line up another one. And this is also a good idea because you can just continue stamping over and over again and make multiple cards or multiple scenes with these mice and just have a lot of fun with it. So as I mentioned before, you want to definitely make sure you have a good black ink. I've been using the Gina K Designs Amalgam ink. One, because it has an intense black color, but also because when you stamp on it, you can also use alcohol ink markers, watercolors with it, and it won't bleed. I was tempted to watercolor today, but I wanted to really get this card done quickly. So I decided to just go with some markers today. And I also was curious to see how well it would come out with markers instead of watercolors. Take a look at that. It is really pretty. And look how sharp and crisp the lines are, and down to the little details of his little furry body and the little etchings of the background shadow. It just came out really nice. It almost reminds me of letterpress, but it doesn't have that special debossed quality to it. It's just a very pretty impression of a stamp. Okay, so while we're here, we can actually start coloring, and I'm going to actually color with my Olo markers. Now, there's a couple of different options you have here. You can just keep this all black and white and maybe color a couple of different pops within, like just color the streamers and leave the rest black and white. You can just leave it like it is, and if you mount it, let's see. If you mount it onto maybe a black background and then put it on a card base, you'll have a really nice monochromatic or black and white image. And it's just really classic. I mean, I love that. And maybe stamp the sentiment in a color, or even make that black and then kind of add a couple of pops of some enamel dots in black and white, and you're finished. I think I'm going to make one of those as well today, and we'll just get 2 for the price of 1. All right, so coming back to this one that we're going to actually color, I actually want to color the streamers in this one. So the key here is that I want to follow each of the individual streamers. As you can see, there's a couple that are just tangled amongst each other, and it just adds to the fun. So when I color them, it'll just give it a little bit more definition and just show you that there are multiple streamers there. And because of the line detail of the black ink, you don't even have to do a lot in terms of like shading or anything like that, because it kind of darkens the color along the way, giving it a little shade. And I'm just following it around. Okay, so now it comes down this way and winds up this way. You can even do like a lighter shade on the back side of the ribbon or the streamer as well. So it continues along. Okay, so that's 1 down. I can just come back here and touch up the details. Just to make it a continuous picture. And I'm going to continue with some other colors. I will start this one in a blue. And look how fun it is. It's just coming to life with these different colors as they're added to the picture. Please put in the comments what your favorite house mouse stamp is and what you like about them. I think for me, this is my first time using them. They've been around for a little bit, I think, but this is my first time making something with them, and I am pretty impressed with these. I kind of like them a lot, and I can see myself wanting to collect them all. Don't we always want to collect everything, right? Shout out to the Gotta Have It's. Okay, so I'm going to continue coloring, and I'm going to add a couple more colors to get the rest of these streamers. They're getting longer as we go. There. How adorable is that? I wanted to continue coloring, but I stopped myself because I really wanted to highlight just the streamers and then keep the mouse black and white and preserve that as kind of like an artistic element. And I really like it that way. So now I'm just going to add a sentiment, which I think is going to be the happiest of birthdays for this one. I'm going to keep that black as well. And with the red rubber, you don't have to condition them the same way you would the clear stamps, because it doesn't have that film on it the same way. And they ink up really nice. Okay. And you can actually bounce off of the padding there to get a very sharp image. And because they're lines and they're letters, they're narrow letters, you don't want to press too hard because then you'll kind of warp the sentiment there. All right. So what I'm going to do is you can either keep this as a full A2 size panel and then just pop it onto a card base, or if you want to get a little bit of a frame around it, which I want to do and bring out a little bit more black, I'm going to cut this all down by 1/8 of an inch around. Now this is an A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to cut off 1/8 of an inch on either side and see how that looks. And then I'm going to, I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch around this particular panel. And then the black one, which will be the matte, is going to be 1/8 of an inch shy of an A4 panel or A2 panel. All right, so I'm going to cut that and be right back. Okay, so I'll show you on this board so that you can kind of see. I'm going to mount the colored piece on top of the black to give it a nice frame. And it just brings it all together really nicely, I would say. And then once you do that, you can add it to a full card panel. And then once you do, nope, I didn't cut this black down. Let me do that. Okay, so I've cut 1/8 of an inch off one of each of the sides, and then that should give me a thinner border here, but also a double border, which is really nice, and it just finishes it off quite lovely. Now if you wanted a thicker border, you would have to cut down this panel a little bit more, and you're already getting close to the edge. It still could be done and look nice, but I liked to have a little bit more of the white space. And this is more of like a clean and simple card. So I can just glue this down and you have your card. Now let's look at the other one, where I just had the black and white. I did not add a sentiment to that. Let me do that as well. For this one, I want to use a sentiment from the Better Press set that I had. I think it was called Always and Forever, and it had a bunch of different sentiments that you can press at one time and cut. This is where it comes in handy. I actually cut also all of the little, flags, I guess, if you will, in a black as well, so I can pop a shadow off of it. So I'm going to use that as my sentiment here, just to give it a little bit more dimension, because I'm keeping it all black and white. I don't want it to be completely flat. I wanted to give it a little extra something. So I'm going to add that sentiment here, and that will give it just the dimension it needs. And just so happens the Altenew foam tape is just as thick, or just as wide, as that sentiment strip, not cinnamon strip. What am I saying? It needs a little something else, I'm thinking. I don't want to add color, but thinking maybe to add a little gray. These are the Altenew enamel dots, and they come in so many different colors. This is the Rock collection. as you can see. There's different shades of gray. And I'm thinking that a cute little heart or something, or a star, would be just what this needs. And maybe like a gray tone, just to give a little bit of interest and not color it in a way. You know what I mean? So the nice thing about these is that you can kind of just put it up against your picture where you'd like it to go and figure out what's going to happen. I love the heart. I'm going to need my tweezers for this one. And I'm going to put one like right here. Now, once you start getting into this, you need to know that odd numbers rule, and you want to create like a triangular linear type of pattern. So if I just wanted 1, I can keep it simple. Or if I wanted to get a little bit more in, I can kind of do another one here, maybe another one here. Or maybe I just stop right there. I kind of like it because it just gives a little bit of something. It's shiny. It has some texture. Or maybe like 1 here. There's so many things you can do, but then you start to get carried away. I know myself, and I need to stop while I'm ahead. So I'm going to keep it just like that. And I love it. And then this one can get mounted onto a card base as well. I kind of want to do something sparkly with this one. Glitter glue is just the best way to add a little touch of glitz and bling to your project. So I'm actually going to just add a couple of dots. And you can make them as small or as large as you want. And you want to let them dry because they become like 3-dimensional. You can actually make your own enamel dots with these as well. Okay, so we have 3. I'm going to actually go for 5 on this one and create like a little bit of movement. And that's just like a cute little way to add a little touch to it. That gives it some texture, so it's not completely flat. You have the color also, which pops it off the page as well. And there you are. And once this dries, I will glue it onto the card base, and we'll have our 2 projects. So I hope you can see how easy it is to create these adorable cards where you don't have to do that much. You can even just stamp the image out. You don't have to die cut. You can add a couple of embellishments very easily, or you can just add like a little bit of a tag, or you stamp the sentiment right on the project itself. If you wanted to get a little fancy, you can always emboss that to bring it up a little bit and raise the text, give it a little bit more shine and dimension, but it's beautiful just the way it is. There are a lot of simple ways that you can just enhance your stamped image without having to use a lot of different products. So I will leave a link in the description where you can go to the Craftique shop and purchase all of the items that were used here today. And hopefully you'll chime in with any comments, or if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next month. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks so much for visiting.